Welcome to the Great Man Within podcast. Every episode is designed to help you discover and live the great man within you. I want to take a minute to invite you to demand more from your fucking life. I want you to demand to live a life of meaning. I want you to demand to feel a sense of fulfillment on a regular basis. I want you to demand to live a life of adventure and possibility. I want you to demand to live your life in a way that's real and true, even when it's difficult, not a life that's comfortable, predictable, or easy. I want you to demand to surround yourself with people who inspire you and in turn demand the best of you. I want you to demand to feel that fire in your belly on a daily basis and then act from that place. I want you to demand to create a future that makes you giddy with excitement to live into. I want you to demand to put things on your future horizon that scare you so much it makes you throw up in your mouth the thought of having to execute on it, to play a game that big. And I want you to demand to live and feel a sense of purpose in the now and not postpone it to some mythical far-off future that never materializes. Gentlemen, I've had the distinct honor and privilege of speaking to so many of you over the last 3 weeks, listeners of this show, members of the Great Man Within Facebook group, who are considering stepping up and formalizing their inner work in 2021. And what I've had a chance to see is so many brilliant men who are demanding far too fucking little from their lives. Far too little. There's so much potential that I see in each and every one of you guys, every one of you that I've spoken to. But you can't even see how little you're asking for in your life right now. You know, there's a quote that I read from a book that I finished over the holidays called The Yamas and the Niyamas, which are 10 yogic principles that pretty much every yogi lives by. And at the very beginning of the book, in the preface, it says, you know, when it comes to life, it's not how much you have or how much you have accomplished that counts. What matters is how well you have participated in your own life, both the ordinary routines and the extraordinary surprises. You know, my favorite part of this quote is, what matters is how well you have participated in your own life. And I don't think you can participate fully in your own life if you don't demand the fucking best. And I see so many of us settling for table scraps. You know, it's not okay to feel like you're living a life on a hamster wheel where every day is the same over and over again. It's not okay to continue having the same dreams over and over and never taking action on them or feeling they're out of your reach. It's not okay to feel like your life is slipping out of control or that you're restless or bored or trapped in the life you've created for yourself and you see no way of getting out. It's not okay. It's not okay to feel that way because you can demand so much more from your life. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, that requires change. Of course, that requires courage. But the possibilities to have everything you want are all there if you make the demand that your life will look that way. To support this conversation, I've turned to one of the books that I've referenced so many times here on the show. One of my favorites. It sits on my exalted bookshelf. I've got many books in my apartment. There's one bookshelf that has my top, I think 12 or 13 favorite now. And it's the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette are Jungian psychotherapists. And if you don't know about Carl Jung, he talks a lot about these archetypes, these that exist inside of all of us. If you've listened to this show, you know that I talk about the great man within. The great man within you can think of as an archetype, right? That kind of gives you a sense for another part of you, another way of you being. And Robert Moore and King Gillette wrote the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. 4 archetypes, the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover, that when they come fully online in a man, he is whole. He is complete in his masculinity. That's one way of positing what a whole complete man looks like based on their work in Jungian analysis. One of the archetypes seems to be so offline in so many men's lives right now, and it's the warrior archetype, right? The warrior archetype, the man who fights for his own fucking life, for the excellence of his own life, his own dreams, his own desires, his fulfillment. So many guys have put this warrior, out to pasture, buried away in some barn, like locked away in shackles, because he settled into a life of predictability, comfort, safety, or what won't rock the boat in your family or with your current job or how much money you're making or the lifestyle you've gotten used to. And this warrior has gone offline. So I pulled open my notes from the book to start to access more of this warrior archetype in your life who will help you to demand more of your life. And here's what Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette have to say about the warrior. They say, "This is the age in the West of the soft masculine. But warrior energy is a vital ingredient in our world building and plays an important role in extending the benefits of the highest human virtues and cultural achievements to all of humanity. A warrior in his fullness demonstrates an aggressiveness, a stance towards life that raises, energizes, and motivates. It pushes us to take the offensive and to move out of a defensive or holding position about life's tasks and problems." Think about that holding position that so many of us are in. Oh, I'll get to that when. I'll do this thing when. I'll pursue my dream when. I'll launch the business when. I'll invest in my personal development when it's more convenient, when I have more money, when there's more time. And everything always gets pushed off. That great man inside of you, that warrior inside of you, doesn't pussyfoot around with this kind of stuff. The samurai advice was always to leap into battle with the full potential of chi, or vital energy, at your disposal, right? It's that life-giving energy, the energy that knows that going into battle, you may die. That awareness of, I have a temporary life here. And that shouldn't frighten me or cause me paralysis. In fact, that should excite me and invigorate me to know how precious my time is here. Again, going back to the book, the warrior is always alert. He is always awake. He is never sleeping through life. A warrior knows what he wants and knows how to get it. Think about how that's the antithesis of drift, right? When we are drifting, we are sleeping through our own lives. It's our unconscious habits, our unconscious patterns, our unconscious belief systems, our fears, our insecurities, cruise control with what's easy, with what's predictable, with what's familiar, what's known. A warrior doesn't live life like that. He is always alert. He is always awake. He is never sleeping through life. He demands more from his life. Back to the book again. The warrior traditions all affirm that in addition to training, what enables a warrior to reach clarity of thought is living with the awareness of his own imminent death. We were just talking about that. This energizes the warrior to take decisive action. And part of what goes into acting decisively in any life situation is training. The warrior energy is concerned with skill, power, accuracy, and control, both inner and outer, psychological and physical. So let me hit this again. Part of what goes into acting decisively in any life situation is training. Gentlemen, that's why the Mentally Tougher Man Challenge, and you're listening to this, well, actually this is being released on day 8 of the 31-day Mentally Tougher Man Challenge. It's not too late to join. I'll link it in the show notes. That's why it is so important that we're doing a daily challenge like this. Every single day I've been sending you a challenge, like a cold shower, 100 push-ups, meditating, breath work, journaling, reading, sharing something vulnerable. Because you are in active training every single day to keep you connected to what's important, to break free from drift in your life, to wake up from the places where you are sleeping. When you string together 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, 14 days, 21 days, 31 consecutive days, of mentally tougher man practices, you're activating that warrior energy inside of you so that you can, in fact, demand and receive and go out and get more from your life. The warrior energy, this is back to the book, has a loyalty to something, a cause, a God, a people, a task, a nation larger than individuals. The warrior's loyalty and sense of duty are to something beyond and other than himself and his own concerns. Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad were all spiritual warriors. What is the thing in your life that is bigger than what you want individually, what you want for yourself, what you want for ego? What is that legacy that you're building? What is that environment that you are creating for you and others that you care about to thrive, right? What is bigger than you? That's why I'm so passionate and enthusiastic about this community, this growing community of men who are showing up to do the Mentally Tougher Man Challenge. We had over 350 men sign up for that. We have over 400 men in the Facebook group. 3 months ago, we didn't have a Facebook group. And you should see the activity in there. Guys who are stepping up, courageously being vulnerable, or doing things they've never done before, and being supported from other men. Supporting you guys through this podcast, is something that I subscribe to higher than me. I believe it's my mission to build on the work that's been left behind by the geniuses, like the ones who wrote King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, like Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil, two of the most influential books in my life. That's what I subscribe to. I also subscribe to the belief that we as men are far more capable than what we've been showing in the world up to this point. And every single day that I see you men showing up, I have faith that we're going to kick the shit out of this thing. The warrior is also often a destroyer. This is from the book. The positive warrior energy destroys, but only what needs to be destroyed in order for something new and fresh and more virtuous to appear. In the very act of destroying, often the warrior energy is building new civilizations, artistic and spiritual ventures for humankind. And what I love about that is I think about the times in my life where I've had to burn some stuff down to move into that next level of being, right? Porngate in my life was a destruction of my former way of doing business. It caused me to shut down and stop bifurcating my energy and focus by working and receiving great paychecks in the corporate world so that I could come fully into this work on this 10 million man mission of helping 10 million men over the next decade get on the path of doing inner work to discover and live the great man inside of them. When my energy was bifurcated because I was taking the paychecks that were easy, they were lucrative from the corporate world, but that did not fully accept all of me and my mission in this world, well, eventually the warrior inside needed to come out and to burn it down decisively, right? Not destructively, decisively. And the last thing that I want to say here about the warrior, and this comes from the book as well, turn the pages here, you can probably hear that, is that if we are accessing the warrior appropriately, we will be energetic, decisive, courageous, enduring, persevering, and loyal to some greater good beyond our own personal gain. We will fight good fights in order to make the world a better and more fulfilling place for everyone and everything. I want to repeat one part of this that I think will be really resonant for you. If you are accessing the warrior appropriately, you will be energetic, decisive, courageous, enduring, and persevering. Now, I've had a chance again to have conversations with many of you in this community over these last 3 weeks. So many of you are right on that razor's edge of going after what it is you want in your life. And as soon as I raise that bar, that standard for you to come up and get it, to make it real in your life, I've seen so many of you shrink back from that line. Too many of you, capable men, that's well within your grasp, shrink back from that line because it's scary. It requires a change. It requires a massive time investment, a difficult conversation with your wife or your partner, requires a financial commitment. It requires reprioritizing your life. And then you go ahead and put in the back seat the things you say that you want at the center and core of your being. If you're truly demanding more from your life, living a sense of purpose, meaning, fulfillment, living a life of adventure, right, where there feels like there's mystery and excitement and life unfolding in ways better than you could have possibly imagined for yourself. Is any of this ringing true for you? Does that exist in your life right now? Is it going to exist the way that you're living your life right now? Or do you need to demand more? And if you're playing the game that I'm inviting you to play, then that active warrior energy needs to come back to life. That warrior energy, like a samurai, is ready to make tough decisions, to bring things to an end that are no longer serving you, to stop playing games small, to stop expecting to live a life of purpose in a way that's going to be convenient or easy or inexpensive for you, right? These things require investment, cost, pain, change, growth. I know that you're ready to take these steps. I see it every fucking day with you guys reaching out to me through Instagram, on Facebook, in the Facebook group through this Mentally Tougher Man Challenge. I see it in the masterminds. I see it every day, guys. There is so much more out there for you. And what I hope I've done today, and actually what I hope you feel today, is a bit more of that fire burning in your belly to go after and get more of what you want in life. I will be here to support you on that mission. So if you haven't already, join us for the Mentally Tougher Man Challenge. I've got it linked in the show notes. Come on over to the Facebook group. Let your journey be visible to the other men. Introduce yourself. Jump in on one of the posts. Start one of your own. Ask for help. Support another man who's asking for help. We're in this together, and we've got some real work to do. And we're going to be able to formalize some of that work starting in February with one of the digital masterminds that are launching, and I'll talk more about that later on this month. But we'll be here, guys. When you're ready to step up, you're in the right place, and I've got you.